So welcome everybody to the next video in the Nephew Elite series. And what we thought we would do in this series, Tony, say hi.
How's it going?
So one of the things we're going to do, we've started this slow, and it's an intentional reason. We've had a lot of conversations about where this is going, especially with RexDog trading in the future. And that's what we want to share here. We want to share some of the background of that, the conversations, why we've started slow, why we haven't jumped into charts right away. And we're talking about mindset and fundamental stuff first. I know for some people it might be slow, but there's an intentional reason why we've done it. The other thing that we're going to do in this video is that we're going to mention that, go through that, the why of what we're doing. And we will also then just talk. You're going to get to know both me and Tony a little bit more. We'll probably tell some stories about some times we had together. He'll probably share some stories from time in his past. So we don't really have a destination after we mention the why. We're just going to go until we think that that it's long enough. This could be a 30-minute video, could be a 60-minute video. And then, so hopefully you get to know us a little bit more. And we're going to jump right in. So you ready, Tony?
I am ready.
All right, so here's what I would share so everybody has the right proper context. Everybody knows, well, not everybody, I have terminal cancer. I plan to be around for as long as I can. I mean, I'm 10 years plus, who knows? It could be 6 months, it could be 2 days, I don't know. I feel healthy. Tony, I just got off chemo treatment. Do I look like I'm on chemo treatment?
No.
Yeah, so, I did rest a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, we got a good little break.
But even on chemo, I operate at a level that most people don't operate at. So this treatment I respond to, it's keeping it at bay. But also one of the things that I've been looking for, or that I've wanted, is, and I shared this with the group at RexDog Trading and all members, is that what I've created here is going to be around for at least 10 years. There's a plan for if I were to take my last breath on this planet, that it's going to be there for 10 years. Now, I've had various family members want to be interested, and I've taught them. But up until really Tony and I started talking recently, I didn't think that I had anybody that was maybe interested in taking the reins. And then I'm not a big legacy person. Maybe I am, and I'm just denying it. So maybe there is a legacy aspect to this. But I've always really respected Tony from a young age when he knew he wanted to be a Marine. I mean, of course, he's a teenager, so he did teenage things. I mean, we all do. But he had that focus. And then I even respected him even more because I remember telling him, and I don't know if you remember this, and I know this is just like uncle advice, right? I remember telling you, like, the one thing I learned in my military experience is that if you're going to do it hard. Like, go all in, get the most out of it, because you're going to regret it if you don't. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that you listened to my advice and you did that, but I saw the result of what you did in the Marines, and I'm very proud of that as well. I mean, it's always proud of you, and I'm still proud of you. So
thank you.
Yeah, when we kind of reconnected recently, and he said that, so he's got a job, but also he's really interested in trading. He's got the mindset for it. You're going to learn this. I mean, and anybody can have the mindset for trading. But also for me, I was thinking, well, okay, if Tony's interested, he can take the reins. And I have someone to hand this off to. Because I really feel like, I know I've discovered something special here. Because the people that I've trained one-on-one that I know in my life, they've been able to execute on it. And we have a couple people in the member section that are on bubbles becoming elite traders. So we're at that point where, and the activity level's about to pick up here, especially with Tony. So I've wanted to have not only the plan for this to go through, and Tony, so we've talked about this already. So I didn't want you to feel obligated that I'm going to put this on your shoulders. I wanted you to want it. But I also didn't want you to not be an elite trader. So why we're going slow about this is because you're at that opportunity in your life. You're young, and you have the opportunity to go off your dreams. And I know you have other aspirations you want to do. And I think trading could be a part of your income stream that will allow you to do that. Realistically, not like blowing smoke. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough, but you can do it. And that would give me even more confidence for then you to take over the group. And as if I have a demise, You know, I might find something that I'm going to live to 200 years ago, so we might have to battle. Like, what's those guys with the swords that
Or
cut
even
off the
like
heads?
the one-on-one duels. Take
Yeah.
the 3 paces and then turn around and shoot.
Yeah, but what's the one with the? Oh, maybe it's before your time.
You talking about with swords?
Yeah, with the swords.
Oh, fencing.
Not fencing. That's that.
Like the rapiers?
Not rapier. The dude that cuts off the head. Like maybe it's before your time. This is gonna bother me because I really want to know what it is. It is.
What age? You just need to tell me what age.
Well, it was kind of like the 80s maybe, and it was this guy that he cut off the head of the people, and then he would get their soul, and then, what's the name of it? People are going to know, they're going to leave it, so it'll come to me. Anyways, we might have to battle with swords to see who takes over RexDog trading.
Okay. Do some Street Fighter shit.
Yeah, and I got old man strength.
Yeah.
Even though I've had cancer and been really dealing with it, I still got old man strength.
Of course you do. You got
So,
that dad strength.
Yeah, and you're far enough outside of the service, the Marines, that I might be able to take you. So
Yeah,
I'm just
you're
warning
right.
you ahead of time.
You're right.
So I'll end with this, and then this won't be much like me talking a lot. A lot of this will be a lot of stories from Tony. But so where we're going with this is that we're gonna be together for a couple weeks. He's gonna get through the full training, and then really he's gonna make it. Well, I'll let him share what he's gonna do, but he's gonna be part of this. That's kind of where I think his heart is at. I don't want to pressure him into it, so it's. I want it to be something that he has the passion for, and he's similar to like me. He gets, and you'll learn that about him if he shares some of those elements, that he has that focus, he has a different perspective, he has the energy, he also cares. You know, for me, I care. When a lot of times the things that I do, I take the perspective. I have empathy for the new trader. I know what it was like, so that's the reason why I don't charge $10,000 yet for the training. It might be up to $10,000, $50,000. It might be. We might get to that point, but right now we're keeping it at $997 because I like that's enough for you to get a commitment to come in and become a den member, and it's a financial commitment that is still a serious amount of money in my mind, where you would still have money to trade. It weeds out a lot of people that can't come up with it. And I'm sorry if you can't come up with it. If you can't, get in touch with me. And if you can keep your word, maybe we can work something out. But I don't do that too often, just because if you can barely make $997 to become a den member, get in the training, and really, when you get behind that door, you're a den member. And ask anybody else in the den, anybody that's orange, anyone that's an alpha, do I show up? Ask them. A lot of times we're having conversation in the den. You don't even know it publicly. We're going through concepts and stuff. So I'm just sharing that so that you understand the context. So that you understand the context to what we're doing here. So I'm going to hand this over to Tony, but first I want to ask him something so that the whole group can hear and give him my expectations. So Tony, for me, I've been very blessed to have you in my life, but also that you've shown an interest in this, in something that I spent blood, sweat, and tears, hours and hours creating, and my need to share it with the world, I think, is that I found a trade system that has edge, that anyone can learn. Is it hard? Of course. If it wasn't hard, everybody would be doing it. But I've also felt in the back of my heart that I don't have someone I know in IRL, in real life, that I could hand it over to, and that it would then continue and grow with the philosophy. So we've had this conversation, and I just want to hear from your perspective, like the expectations you're hearing from me, but I also would love to hear your expectations of, like, what, with no limitations, what would you like out of this? What do you try? What would be the best outcome from you? And like I said, I know this can change. We've had this conversation, but I think it would be helpful for other people to get context about what we're really doing here. So go ahead, take it away.
All right. Well, to respond to everything that you're trying to get out of me, or ask at least, yeah, I do want to carry on this legacy because, like I said, you're my uncle. And, I love you just as you love me, and you've shown me paths, and you gave me a lot of insight when I had really no one else in the family that was in the military, that could give me some insight before I went in. So I always hold you at a higher standard than most people I meet anyways. So it's really good for me to be here, and I love the idea of trading. I love the idea of the challenge. And like I've said, I've always been a huge risk taker. Even before I was in the Marines, I liked risk. So, and I know that with risk comes consequences. And I think I learned that more in depth when I went in. Because before, I would do some bad stuff and I'd have some consequences here and there, but never life or death or a fat amount of money out of my paycheck. So I do want to carry this on because I don't think that it's just some system that people could go into and get some money out of, but I think it's something that people can invest in and get an even bigger investment out of, as well as the knowledge and teachings that you're giving these members of RexDog Trading. They're getting so much more than anybody out there can really achieve, because like you said, 90% will fail because a lot of the people who are preaching this stuff are not preaching the best, or they're preaching stuff that they don't want competitors.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put intentions against them. It's just that when you become an elite, you can recognize other elites, and then also you have really low tolerance for BS. So yeah, I speak like I know everything, and I speak with confidence. It's because, number one, I do know a lot of other traders that have gone through similar path to me, different styles, and they think the same way I do. Because I didn't have a mentor. I tried to pay a well-known mentor, and he didn't know what he was doing. So I taught him things. He's like, "Oh, that's how that works?" I'm like, "What am I paying you for?" Like, I just showed you like how the market works 80% of the time. You just told me that's how that works. Like, so I'm not. I try to really not come off as arrogant.
And I don't think that you do come off as arrogant. I think that just like a super good martial artist, people are going to notice that, and he's going to be noticed because he's a good martial artist. No one's going to think he's arrogant because he's beating dudes' asses down, or beating them down, period.
And I'll run.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me. We've talked about our defense. We're just I think we were born paranoid.
Yeah.
And then life experiences, and then our natural state is paranoid, but then also hyper aware. More than 85 to 90% of the average person out there. And you would have been that way regardless if you were in the Marines, but you're even more. That's why when we went to a restaurant recently, just so everybody knows, my family knows this, I have to choose where I sit. And they can stop me at any time and tell me where are the exits, everything else. I've been like that since I was 13. Probably will never get into that part of my life. But Tony sat where my back was to the door, but it was only acceptable because it was Tony.
And because like him, I also can't have my back to the door. And if it was the other way around, I would have accepted that.
Yeah.
My uncle is allowed to sit there, but I personally could never do that. I have a very big paranoia because the world is the world, and I've seen reality. I've seen other parts of the world where a lot of U.S. citizens do not see reality, at least in that sense. So, yeah, that's a good story to tell because I am very paranoid in that sense as well.
Good paranoid, which is good for trading because you want to be confident but paranoid. So, but what I really want to hear from you actually, Tony, is no limitations at all. What would this look like in a year or 2 year for you, as far as some aspirations you have? And then what would be your involvement in the RexDog trading group and what I put together?
Okay.
And I'm saying this from the perspective, I don't mean to say that like this, but in the event of my demise, Highlander. That's the name.
Highlander.
In the event that you and I meet in a garage, in a parking garage somewhere, and we fight to the death and you take my head, I'd rather do it on a mountain, so let's try to do this on a mountain.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't care what mountain, Mount Fiji, or let's go find a mountain if we got to do it, all right? So in the event of my demise, my hope would be that you would carry on the legacy at even a minimal level, but you would carry it on from an elite trader perspective, and then you would be growing it even more, and you would enjoy it to be part of your passion. But I also don't want you to feel obligated in any way if it's not what you feel deep in your heart.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. That was a lot. So, to first respond, I would say my expectations for myself as well as my aspirations. I do want to fund my lifestyle with trading. So and I think that's a good way to do it because the stuff I want is pretty expensive. So
You're bougie?
yeah, well, I like guns. And guns are expensive nowadays, and I like ammo. So I think this is a good way to fund it as well. And I'm a very obsessive person.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I joined the Marines, I just wanted to be the infantry, and as soon as I got to the infantry, I wanted to be the best infantryman that there ever was, like anybody else.
Mm-hmm. But
then I aspired that, and then I picked a job that was the very last job of that certain MOS. People don't know MOS is a job in the military, or in the Marines at least.
Well, it's all Army is MOS.
Well,
so mine was 92R.
Mm-hmm.
Was a parachute rigger, but I didn't do that because, well, we can get into that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but then I took that on, and I was like, I want to be the best sniper I can be. So I just got attached to a sniper platoon, and I became a sniper, even though I was an infantryman. I just wanted to be the best, and I thought that if I knew all aspects of being the best of every single aspect of warfare, then I could be the best warfighter. So I get very obsessive in these types of things that I take a liking to, you could say. So obviously my aspiration is to become obsessive and become an elite level trader eventually, whenever that is.
Well, no. How about we change that right now? Are you going to become an elite level trader?
Well, no matter what, I don't give up and I don't quit.
Okay, so you need to answer this succinctly. Are you going to become an elite trader?
Yes.
Okay. That's your goal. So every day you look up in the mirror, you journal, you get to know yourself, everything. You might just take portions of the RexDog system. You might change it. It might be some super Nephew elite mode of the RexDog system. But like I told someone else this week that limited their goals to just the practice squad of the NFL, I said, no. You know, what should be your goal? To be the number one in the NFL, of course. So now, even if you fall short, but don't accept just the practice squad. So from this point forward, I shared this story with you before. I decided I was an elite trader. This isn't act as if. I'm an elite trader. Now I'm an elite trader. Now I just need to do the work to get there. Mm-hmm. It's already happened sometime in the future. Unfortunately, we're beings that are limited by time. Mm-hmm. So when I was in the park and I looked at Rex and he gave me a little weird look, I said, Rex, I've blown up 3 accounts. I threw a monitor against the wall. I'm an elite trader, and I'm going to stop playing around with this, and I'm going to journal like crazy. I'm going to look at myself in the mirror, and I'm going to stop lying to myself. Mm-hmm. And that's the hardest thing to do because a lot of people lie to themselves. They have these aspirations and dreams, but they're not willing to kind of get to the core of who you are. In order for you to do this, not only become an elite trader, but in order for you to, here's what I'm going to share with you about this being a public trader. You're not going to get accolades. It's going to be lonely. You're going to get trolled more than anything else. And you just need to have the satisfaction that you're doing it for a greater purpose that is touching other people. And because you're never going to get the accolades, or you're never going to get back as much as you put in. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm not saying that from a bad perspective. You need to have, so you have 2 things that you're looking, that we've talked about, that I hear that you want to do. You want to become an elite trader, but then also you want to be a big part of RexDog trading and the legacy of it. Mm-hmm. So one of those is hard enough. Mm-hmm. The other one, you've got to have a good heart, which you do. You got to be in it for the right purpose, which you do. But you're making it doubly hard on yourself. Mm. But I wouldn't ask you if I didn't think that it's within the capabilities of who you are. Mm-hmm. So we wouldn't even have a discussion. You know, I've taught my other nephew, I've taught some other family members, you know. So, but that's why I'm really excited about this. That's why I'm putting effort in it. That's why we're going about this slow, because this is a long build. This is something that, and I'm going to shut up now so that you can kind of add to it. So that's my perspective.
Yeah, and I don't plan to, like you said, I do see my insight a little different from where you are, and I do agree that I will be an elite level trader, but I am not an elite level trader. Mm-hmm. So for me, when I get to that level where I know I'm an elite level trader or I'm on that path is where I will say that. But for me, like, I can't be like I'm a Navy SEAL and then not even go to Buds.
Yeah, so let me be clear. I didn't walk around and say I'm at elite level. I made the decision that that's the only goal.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other goal.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to make clear to them is that I don't think they were getting that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I want to do is I don't like to fail. Every time I fail, I like to come back and hit it even harder. And like, I don't think I've ever really quit on anything that I've ever done. And that comes with lots of failures that hit hard and lots of losses, but I don't take it like that. I like to take it on the chin and keep it going. But anyways. So,
and I think what we'll do is we'll check in every like 7 or 8 videos. And we'll do one of these, but it won't be as long as this one.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be like, okay, where are you feeling? Where are you at? And then we'll maybe tell some stories.
Mm-hmm.
Just so people can we can relax a little bit. We can have fun. We can, we're going to have fun anyways, but so that you can get to I feel that everybody in the group and can get to know Tony more, can get to know me more, but we can all get to know each other and we can prosper together. I sound like a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah, and if they get to know us, then they'll probably know that we got some other sides to us.
Yeah, so I think that let's kind of move on to that. So have we resolved that? Have we shared what we shared here? Do you think anybody that listened to this would have a full understanding of your perspective and my perspective?
I'll give a little recap as well. So I do want to continue this, not only for your own legacy, but because I feel that you deserve to leave something that you put so much blood, sweat, and tears and have it keep going. Whether it is a legacy or not a legacy, it does not matter to me. I feel like if you put something that has enough blood, sweat, and tears, enough effort that you can be on there grinding every day and night, and then people notice it, and then it just goes away like it's nothing. That's not how it works. The Ming Dynasty. It's a huge dynasty, and everyone knows about it. It's going to be known for generations because it was so large and how hard they hit it. So I'm not comparing you to the Ming Dynasty, obviously. But,
well, I mean, I'm more like Alexander the Great.
Yeah, well, of course.
Of course. But I'm still alive, so I'm really not. But not Caesar, because I don't want to get stabbed in the Senate. So
yeah, that's true.
I'll find a figure that I'm more like. Hannibal, maybe. But Hannibal was closer, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I just think that legacy should never be forgotten, regardless, because I think that with anybody, too. If you put enough effort into that, someone should carry that on. Yeah. Someone should continue to make it stronger and better, because all this effort cannot be just wasted for nothing. And all these people who are looking up to you, they have to look up to someone eventually. And in your demise, like you were saying, which, I hope it never happened, I would step up and take the reins regardless of what I was doing at the time. Because not only do I see the effort you put in, I want to take the reins. So that's kind of the recap for me, as well as I think it will fund my what I want to be my future and how I want to live my life. Not that I'm like bougie, like wearing Gucci every day and all that type of stuff, but like I'm not about that. I wear cowboy boots, and Carhartts.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think that could fund the lifestyle I want, as well as fund my future family, as well as I could show people when I get better, because you've honed your skill. You're an expert in your art. It is art of trading. That's what I consider it as.
I'll still never figure it out, but
yeah. But I mean, and that's just kind of life. But
yeah.
So that's where my mindset is at. And if they have any more questions or they're confused because I talk a lot or we both talk a lot, then they can reach out and we can do another video as well.
Yeah. So let's just have fun now. The rest of the video, you fine?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll start with a story. I think we mentioned this before, but we'll just tell the full story. So it was one time I was visiting you and we were going to a beach weekend somewhere, and you're driving and I'm in the passenger seat, and my daughter was a teenager. She's really into K-pop.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, you and I are controlling the radio. You're sharing with me some new rap artists that you like. I'm sharing, I'm playing DMX or whatever else, and my daughter just does not like rap. But to me, K-pop sounds just as poppy as rap, right?
I don't know. It sounds like Disney Channel.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to include her. So we went on YouTube and we found the 100 top K-pop songs. And no joke. So number one, we were suffering from song 1. And it was only like 10 to 30 seconds, right?
Just little snippets. So you just got a bunch of it. It just hit you like a brick and ran away and hit you. And then another one came in. Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm in the car with my daughter. And I'm with Tony, you were 18 at the time. And, half of the K-pop bands are female bands. So
I'm a guy, my daughter's a teenage. She's like, Dad, you can't be looking at these girls. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, but the thing that was funny about it is that every song that came on, she could stop it and tell us the whole story of the band, like their background. Like, this one did this one's part of this company, this one's is this. It's almost like a cult.
And I couldn't even hear the difference in the bands.
Yeah.
Everything sounded the exact same to me.
What I tell people, I don't know how old I was, but for a 40-something odd man, I know way too much about K-pop than I should, because I've just listened to her, and we could be on a drive somewhere for an hour, and she will just share the latest K-pop news. She's not like it anymore because she's in college, she's focused on, but back then she could have just done that. So I just remember that's a fond memory that I have of both of us suffering through K-pop. We suffered through all 100 songs.
One of the worst days of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
One of them, for sure.
There was one song we really liked, I remember.
Yeah, there was one, and it was like out of the 100, we were like, this one's okay.
Yeah, this one we can handle. Let's repeat this one.
Yeah, and it's just a little 30 seconds, just had to keep going over and over.
But she was so happy.
Yeah, she was happy.
Like,
and she just loved our suffering too.
Yeah.
Just laughing back there.
Exactly. But we made her suffer with rap, so.
Yeah. Not to hate on you if you like K-pop, that's your thing. Like, it's just not ours, personally, so.
All right, so now you share a story. It doesn't have to be from our life, but I'd love for you to share a little, and maybe a story from your time in the Marines or anything else that gives a little more context about who you are, your job, or anything.
Okay, I can give you a little. For those of you who don't know who 0351 Assaultman, that was my my primary MOS, my primary job in the Marine Corps. That was the first job I had. An 0351 Assaultman is a breacher, pretty much. So we are breachers as well as rocketeers. So what that will consist of is being the rocket man. You also have to be the demolitions man, because we deal in pressure and we deal in a lot of math and calculus, dealing with making sure there's enough standoff. So if we blow a charge or if someone's behind us with a rocket, they don't die. So that's a big cause, because a lot of deaths have come from blue on blue explosives. Because people are too close to it, people don't calculate the risk that happens when someone's even too close. That's one little mistake, like even one little calculation off, 16 Marines die, and it's a pretty crazy and pretty serious job. So I took it very seriously, and that's what I mainly did. And that consists of building charges as well as placing them, as well as breaking down doors. Like, we had to get handed a pamphlet that pretty much explained every single material in the world that houses were made of. So like in Baghdad or Afghanistan, Iraq or Thailand, what their huts are made out of, and third world countries, if they have mud bricks compared to actual clay or brick. And I have to know how much explosives it will take to blow those houses in every single place, because we never know where we're going to be. And if we do, it's going to be nice before when we have to plan. So that's kind of what the explosive part is. And then, I love being first to the door. It's like one of my favorite things to do is to break down a door and just see everybody's faces looking at me first, and then sometimes it sucks because there's a gun to your face, but
or you're being shot at.
but
they're participating.
Yeah, but when you're first in blowing a door and you see everyone's reaction, they're like, "What just happened?" So it's a pretty cool feeling. But definitely very exhilarating, adrenaline, and very risky, and very dangerous. But I loved it. I loved every second of it. And my boys, we were all trained to be warfighters and killers, and that's what we did. So that's a little bit of my explosive side. On rocket side, this is probably something that a lot of people don't know, but when you shoot a rocket launcher, there's no recoil. It's not like a gun. Because guns will have springs or buffers that will pretty much, when the chamber, it's okay. So when you shoot a gun, there's recoil because there's a spring inside of it that pushes the buffer back into your shoulder stock. Or for a pistol, there's the slide chamber that will push it back, and that's why you have recoil. And that's with pressure as well, because you have velocity. So with rockets, it's electronic. So it's a spark, and it's a chemical reaction that happens inside of a rocket launcher. So that's why there's no pressure, because there's only pressure, there's no recoil, there's no spring that attaches to it. So when you shoot a rocket, it just goes straight out because it's chemically shot by pressure. But pressure is a source that cannot be evaporated. It doesn't dissipate. It goes somewhere. So when you shoot a rocket launcher and you see in the movies where they're shooting inside of a room or they're shooting inside, like in a window, that's completely false, because everyone in that room would die. Because the pressure would take all the oxygen out of the air, and suck your body dry. So pretty much your lungs would be sucked out of your face, is how that would work. So we have this thing called a backblast for rocket launchers, and that's where
They say backblast clear, right?
yeah, backblast area all clear, and that's saying because there's a certain amount of distance between where the pressure can dissipate and where it can slowly dissipate, and that's where if you're in that first to 6, it's usually 60 meters is like the kind of like the go-to, is like what everyone wants to stay off beat, and there's rocket launchers that even go farther, but that 60 meters, if you're within that, your legs get shredded by grass because the grass is moving at such a high velocity and pressure. Even dirt could just take you out. It's pretty crazy. So
Wow.
it's a lot of risk and a lot of safety precautions that we have to take, because if someone's behind me and I don't see them and I don't check that, I just killed someone. Or if someone's running by and I'm trying to clear the backblast and they're trying to get in front of it, I have to stop them everything in my body. Because usually you have a rocket launcher, so you have your gunner and you have an A gunner. So your gunner will be shooting, your A gunner will be looking behind you to make sure no one's in the backblast. If someone's running behind me and I'm the A gunner, I'm tackling that dude. I don't care who it is. It could be a general, it could be a captain, it does not matter. Because they will die if they go on that backblast. So it's a lot of safety precautions, and it's a lot of mental capacity, because if you're thinking about how far is he going to shoot, because I also, as an A gunner, I have to be watching if he's hitting his marks, because if he's not hitting his marks, I have to adjust him. He's just shooting. So a lot of people don't realize it's a lot that goes into it, and that's why my job was one of the rarer ones, and we got phased out recently. I'm kind of rambling here, but that's
actually go to the chart now in Bitcoin, and then we'll go to a happy. That wasn't happy, but we'll then maybe you can share a story of like something funny or whatever.
Yeah, I'll share.
Without getting way too inappropriate, where we're gonna have to put a X rating on this. So let's just jump into the chart. I know you don't know how to read a chart, but Bitcoin's making a really interesting move here. It's doing a bias and momentum long move. It's recaptured the weekly open a long time ago. The left chart, as you set up, the right chart is the 1 minute. So go to the 5 minute there on the right chart. So you're already selected. Now go to the 5 minute. And we're going to do a tutorial video of me walking Tony through our Nephew Elite, how to use TradingView. And I know some people said I'm bagging on it. I don't bag on it. I'm just, what I think people are failing to realize is I'm shortening the learning that Nephew Elite needs. And I'm giving the perspective that I think he needs to jump in right away. He will still make up his own mind. You'll learn this about our relationship, that we respect each other, but I also respect, even though he's the age he is, I respect his perspective. So he can check me, and I'm just kind of that individual anyways. So what we're seeing on that right now is, if we go to the 4-day on the left chart. Okay, or the right chart. Now, kind of zoom, like go to the price on the side. Yeah, perfect. So see how it's trying to close above the RDA.
Yeah.
And where it's at, that's actually a major thing. If it closes above the RDA and then it stays momentum and bias long on the 60-minute chart, or another chart called the 30-minute chart, which we call our structure chart, then I can say with high confidence it's going to tag 30,000, 31,000. So this would be a trade. Number one, we're already in this trade, so I'll teach you. I've had a Bitcoin buying strategy that I've followed since 2016.
Yeah,
and I've shared it 2017. It's the same strategy I share today, and it works. So when you find something that works, don't change it. So I'm already in a trade down below. Plus, I believe Bitcoin's going to hit above 100 Gs. So if you believe that, then you take this opportunity. I also created a special report called the third Bitcoin. I did prelude to the third Bitcoin crisis. I don't say I predicted this move, but I made a highly logical, data-based argument that it's going to test the previous all-time high of 19,000 at a minimum. It might go as low as 12, maybe. But that's still, so you'll learn all that, and you're going to learn that in a week. You're going to get this knowledge in a week. So that's kind of what we're looking at here in the chart. I'd keep it on this to kind of see where this day closes. But why don't you share a fun story? Share something fun. Go a little. Could be from anything. I don't. Could be from the time of the Marines. It could be anything. Just let people know you a little bit more.
All right. Well, because the last part was pretty serious, so I'll get into a more funny story like you're saying here. This was when I was in the Marines. So my buddy and I, at the time, we were playing a video game, and we like to drink when we play games. And we lived on the 5th deck of our barracks, and this is when we were not overseas, so we were home. And when we lived on 5th deck, we had no elevator, so we had to walk up all 5 stairs. That's just a little extra for you to know. And there were 14 stairs per.
Oh, so you know exactly. In case you had to sneak out or something. Or whatever.
Yeah, it's rough. Just so you know, I had to walk up those with all my groceries.
Oh, okay.
Every day,
yeah.
Walking down a formation. So that's just for you to, feel my pain.
No, I feel it. I get it now.
But my buddy and I used to hang off the 5th deck on the outside and do pull-ups.
Okay.
And at one point, one of our junior Marines, he had bed bugs. He lived on the 1st deck.
Wait, did his bed have bed bugs, or did he have bed bugs? Did it follow him around like that dude in Peanuts?
My barracks were there since Vietnam, man. So
So when you say someone has bed bugs, is that like herpes or like?
No, like his bed had bed bugs, and it was pretty bad infestation in our barracks. But
all right,
they didn't really want to do anything about it. They're like, suck.
I know, but is he walking around with bed bugs on him? That's what I'm trying to say.
No, his bed had bed bugs.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never had bed bugs. I've never been around, so I don't know.
Well, they're really small and they're really, really
They
gross.
itch you and stuff?
Yeah, and they itch you up and they'll give you rashes. And he probably did have them because he was a nasty little Marine. But, so at the time he lived on the 1st deck and we would pull out all their beds because a bunch of them had him on the 1st deck.
Oh, so you're somewhat safe.
Yeah, so because we live on the 5th deck, so we're peasants. They were like peasants to us, but then we had to walk down all the stairs. So we weren't kings. Yeah, but we weren't kings either because we had to walk down them all the
no elevator.
stairs. Yeah.
Why didn't you just have the first floors come up and carry you?
Well, at the time, some of our command wouldn't have appreciated it. But, so anyways, a lot of these junior Marines that lived on the 1st deck, we pulled their beds out and we'd lay them on in between our barracks. And you could see them from the 5th deck because you could look straight down and you could see all the beds laid out on the ground.
All right.
So if you jumped off, technically you could land on a bed. Technically speaking, if you had...
Not that it would help, but technically you could
If I was like a diver or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm definitely not. And so my buddy and I were really drunk. I'm not going to say his name, but...
He should not be named.
Yeah, he should not be named. We can just call him Ugly Boy because he was hella ugly. But, so, we were drinking, and at the time, I'm not a big pickles fan. I like spicy pickles, like the bread and butter ones, whatever, but I don't like just regular pickles. And my buddy loved pickles, and all he would bring in the room for groceries, and I'd buy us ramen and candy and chips and snacks, and he would bring pickles, and I'm like, dude, what the?
That's his contribution.
I'm like, what is this, bro?
Yeah, what are you trying to tell me?
And I pay the Wi-Fi, dude. You bring me pickles? Oh man, I hated him, but love him to death. But anyways. At the time we were drinking, and I don't know if most of you know what Cutwaters are, but they're like...
I don't know what Cutwaters are.
They're mini Four Locos, pretty much, and they will mess you up.
What's Four Locos? Should I know this?
Oh, Four Locos are like these really strong, they're like 14% super sugary drinks, and pretty much if you slam one, you're hammered.
But what type of alcohol is it?
I don't really know. It's like...
It's not whiskey, it's not...
No, but it's like seltzers, but they're really, really intense, and they're like the sugary seltzers.
Right. Okay.
But like one of them, and you can get slammed. But
okay.
For us, we would drink a lot at the time, so we'd shotgun these drinks that would mess you up. Like most people get messed up if they slam one or two.
Yeah.
We'd shotgun 5 or 6, and then we'd probably get onto a 30 rack and then a handle. That's how our most drinking nights went.
Okay.
I'm not an alcoholic, but that's when it was kind of bad. Anyways. So we're drinking and we're heavily drunk at the time. My buddy's like, let's go do pull-ups outside.
Great idea.
I'm like, heck yeah. And granted, this is wintertime. And wintertime in the place I was stationed at is really rainy. So it's super rainy outside. All the bars are wet. And my buddy's like, I bet I can do more pull-ups than you on the outside. I was like, say less. That's all you had to say to me. And I'm instantly over the bar hanging off the edge. And I'm looking down and all our junior Marines are hanging out by the fire pit. And they see us up there. And they're chanting heck yeah, corporal, heck yeah. I'm like, yo.
So you weren't a sergeant then, you were just corporal.
Yeah, I was a corporal. And as you can tell, this is corporal type activities.
You just have enough responsibilities where you can still do private stuff and not get burned.
Yep.
But you can't. But if you get caught as a sergeant doing that, you're gonna be.
Yeah, I'm gonna get horrendously attacked.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the time, my juniors You know, they love me because I'm an awesome guy.
Yeah.
But-
Which just comes through immediately.
Yeah, of course. And so they're like, heck yeah, Corporal, let's get it. And I'm like, yes, sir. Yuts. And I'm doing pull-ups. And then our other buddy comes by and he's like, what are you guys doing? You're idiots. And I'm like, oh yeah? Then why are you not doing pull-ups out here? He's like, exactly. You're an idiot. And I'm like, yeah, but are you drunk too? He's like, no, I'm not an idiot. It's Monday morning. And I'm like, you know what? We have the day off. It's okay. He's like, no, we work tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, well, it is what it is. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, we used to get pretty drunk. But anyways, I'm like, hey, will you go hand me a jar of pickles? So he's like, what? Why would I hand you a jar of pickles? I'm like, give me the pickles. And so he comes out of my room. Okay, so he comes out of the room and he hands me and my buddy the jar of pickles. And I'm like, okay, sweet. Let's get these pickles down. And so I'm like, I bet you I can do more one-handed pull-ups than you and eat more pickles. And as I said before, I hate pickles. So my buddy's eating, and he gets like 2 pickles, and these are the jumbo ones, of course. And I'm like, at the time, I'm thinking, why would I even do this?
So obviously everything you're doing is mission critical.
Yeah, well, of course, I'm fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
Only
America.
But, this is what you taxpayers pay me.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, my buddy is eating the pickles, and he's hanging from the 5th deck, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, I don't know how much more I can take, because I just drank a bunch of alcohol, I had no food, and we're eating pickles. So, as I'm thinking this, my buddy throws up all over the beds on the ground, and I was just sitting there like, holy cow, now I think I have to throw up. But instead of throwing up, both of my hands or one hand is on the pickles. My pickle drops out of my hand.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh no.
Party foul.
In my head, I'm like, oh no, I'm slipping off the bar, holding me up. I need to grab it with my other hand. So my left hand goes to grab it, and I drop.
Oh.
And as I'm dropping, I grab onto the next bar.
Okay.
So the 4th deck bar, I'm
So
like,
you got some skills.
so I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I almost just died. And then I'm like, wait, that was kind of dope. And
Do it again?
So my buddy, he's like, that was sick. And all I'm hearing is the junior marine's like, yo, that's what I'm talking about, Corporal. I'm like, let's go. I meant to do that. And then I see my buddy just drop down next to me, and we just start dropping down like we're Tarzan. And we get to the 3rd one. So we drop down to the 3rd one, and my buddy loses his hands and falls right onto all the bed bugs.
Oh.
And it was wet, and it was sticky, and
Oh,
remember these
I don't know if you really had to tell the story. Okay, I get it.
These beds have been these beds have been through the ringer.
Yeah.
It's just like, I won't use that analogy, but it's been through some stuff. Like let's just say more toilet paper rolls have been used on those beds than anything else.
I think I get it.
Anyway.
I don't want the visual, but I think I get it. I think I understand what you're laying down.
Yeah, but my pickle, I landed on top of the puke, on top of the bed, which my buddy had also landed on, but he saw a pickle only. On top of also bed bugs. And all I hear my junior marine's like, eat the pickle! Eat the pickle! I'm like, no way my buddy eats this. And, he puts it in his mouth, and he doesn't eat it. Thank goodness. He just throws it at them, and they're all running around all scared and stuff. But I dropped down to, like, the 1st floor. I'm like, holy crap, I'm Spider-Man. And then as I'm like thinking about to drop off the last one, the very last one, I fall. And I hit my head. And I was unconscious. And then I woke up in my bed. So that's just a funny story that we had. But that's why I don't eat pickles. And that's why usually I don't do pull-ups anymore. Is because
From the 5th floor at least.
Yeah, from the 5th floor at least, yeah.
Exactly.
But that was just a good story that a buddy of mine had. So
I don't think we can top that. I think that's probably a good ending point. And then what's going to happen next is that we're going to get back to it. So the next video is actually going to be candlesticks. So you're going to learn about candlesticks. We're going to be in charts. We'll probably do I don't think we'll do a live stream, but I'll do a tutorial video with you on TradingView. And we'll put that in the members area so that I'll walk you through how to be efficient with TradingView, because I want you to be driving for much of these. Mm-hmm. But that was a good story. Almost too many visuals that I don't really want to imagine.
I like to paint it. I like to paint a good picture for everybody.
I see that.
So they can feel like they were there with me.
Yeah, they can have the smells, the sounds, everything.
You can feel every piece of energy that I'm giving you. You know? And everything I felt, I want you to feel as well. I want you to feel that fear as well as disgust, because pickles are gross.
I really like pickles. I mean, actually, I don't mind pickles, but
Yeah.
you know, might have to rethink that.
Yeah, now you have to rethink it.
Yeah.
But as he always forgets, remember to subscribe and like the video. I don't know where you're watching this at, but it really helps us out a lot, because we like to push this content out and give it to you guys. As well as it's fun for us to hear your feedback and your comments, as well as on anything you have to say, really.
And I think what we'll do after this is we'll actually answer. Someone left a series of feedbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we'll do is we'll do a quick 10-minute video and just answer those.
Okay.
From a real raw, and then we'll get into candles. You good with that?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, and that might just be for members, but maybe we'll put it on YouTube. So, like and subscribe. Join us for the next video. If you're not a member, you'll find a link down below to join Discord. Send me an email how to become a member. You can visit the website. There's total information on the trade system. We look forward to seeing, or we both look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Mm-hmm. Yacht.